say I'm gonna say this about sustainable influencers, and there's no hate to them. I have no problem with them. I think that many of them are good people, but there's really no such thing as a sustainable influencer. I know that I have a higher footprint than the like average person because we our whole system is built off consumption, and there's no way of separating that with sustainable actions. There like influencing is inherently in like limited sustainability thought process. Like sustainability is the footnote in terms of product consumption. I don't really understand sustainable influencing. I don't really see the logic of it because the whole point of influencing is consumption and marketing for the most part. So when you prioritize consumption and marketing, even if it's quote unquote green, organic, clean products, sustainable products, it's kind of contradictory to the system of like influencing and really sustainability to ever think like it's very much ooh, let me make sure it don't drop, like gonna be like coinciding. Yes, there's more sustainable products, and that's my main problem with pushing sustainability within influencing spaces. Because sustainability is on paper important, okay, it's very important, but it's also contradictory to the influencer lifestyle that's based off of marketing and getting people to consume. Because even if you're buying clean products, sustainable products, organic products, whatever, eco-friendly, woman-owned, thrift store, you're still really contributing to consumption. That's why I am not a sustainable creator. I don't think I ever will be. I think sustainability is important, but it's also not really functional under the structure of capitalism we live under. So I don't really think I'll ever go sustainable. I will use sustainable products, but sustainable is kind of an oxymoron when it comes to the average system of capitalism. And whether people agree with capitalism, don't agree with capitalism, capitalism prioritizes consumption because that's how consumerism functions and that's how companies make money. Even the most green, clean, zero waste company needs the money to survive within this ecosystem. So a lot of people might critique my unsustainable practices. Excuse me, I feel a little sick. But simultaneously, within the confines of capitalism, there's no other option. Sustainable products really at the mass level of consumption don't necessarily contribute to it being quote unquote sustainable after a period of time. When you're consuming products, even organic, all these products, as I repeat over and over again, it becomes unsustainable because the whole lifestyle is built off consumption. It may be changing the products and honestly being more expensive, but what's the difference systemically from a extremely unsustainable fast fashion project overconsumption than a quote unquote sustainable one, but it's over consuming to the point where it's unsustainable? That's the problem I have with a lot of sustainability initiatives. I think that they're massively important, but I also feel like blaming the consumer is not going to work out. Okay, the consumer is not going to change their whole narrative. This has to be a structural change in the environment, and I and many other people can't do that individually. This has to be a structural change within the companies and within the system, which it doesn't require overhauling your life to this kind of clean lifestyle, because the eco-friendly lifestyle has kind of been co-opted as kind of an elitist lifestyle where only if you have a lot of money up front you can afford to spend on it. And that's why there's a lot of classism, racism, and just systemic problems within the eco-friendly industry. I used to be in that eco-friendly niche, and I realized that wasn't for me personally, and that lifestyle was unsustainable for growth and like financial situations within the system we currently live in. And that's why veganism is also a mixed bag for me. I think veganism is a very good ethical thing, but simultaneously, you're also still supporting the same companies that are also creating the agricultural industry for the most part. Because a lot of these vegan, like mock meats, are made from the same companies or sister companies that fund the same type of pharmaceutical and agricultural industries. Like they don't really like separate themselves from them, and that's something that I've noticed within the system, that it structurally is pretty identical to each other. Like both of these industries are kind of overlapping. So that's why I don't think I'll ever be a sustainable creator. in the way people mean it, because it's kind of been locked into a certain lifestyle. I do enjoy thrifting. I do enjoy getting secondhand goods from like a hobby standpoint, but influencing is inherently an unsustainable job, and that's okay. And I have to learn to listen to that, okay? And any sustainable creator, if you're willing to have a conversation about it, I'm willing to have a conversation about it, but I don't really see like especially smaller ones, because larger ones often just deflect to, oh, it can change the system, but there really isn't any evidence at this current time that it changes the system on large scale, because they're often still funding similar companies, and often these brands are bought out by large companies, and it's more of a marketing thing at that point. Same thing with the agricultural industry and the farming industry and other industries that are large scale, that often are bought by the same companies.